Hello, everybody. This is Linda DeVitas, owner and founder of healingsonthego.com. I'm a psychic clairvoyant medium, certified healer, Reiki healer, professional space clearer, and a whole bunch more. To see the services and products that I offer, go to healingsonthego.com. Thank you so much, everybody. I would like to introduce my very special guest. We're bringing her back.
I don't know why, but here I am.
It's so nice to have you back on, Jazzy. Everyone loved you after the
Oh,
show. They're like,
you're
you
so
got to bring
sweet.
her back.
You're so sweet. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate
It's
it.
my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Um, there's not Halloween without us because we both do the paranormal.
Right? Right. On many levels.
Today, we're going to talk about real haunted stories, and I'm going to let Jazzy go first.
Oh, well, I can start with growing up. We had, we, I swore our house was haunted. My father was very black or white. You know, he didn't entertain the gray area. I think he believed in it more than he let on. But um, we would see the rocking chair, the recliner, and nobody was in the room, and the rocker would be going. And then it was like as soon as we saw it, then it would start to slow down or stop. You'd set your keys down, and you'd go and ask everybody, where are they? I had them right here. And then you would come back and there's your keys or your brush or your earrings or whatever. And it happened frequently, but because we weren't really allowed to believe in ghosts, then you were just like, oh, I must be crazy. I just didn't see them or whatever. And so lots of weird little things happened. My mother would smell cigar smoke when she was hanging out the laundry outside. We lived out in the country, far, far away from others, you know. Once she was sweeping in the house and she had the door open to sweep everything out. I think she was a little bit of a witch herself, you know. But anyway, she was sweeping
Yeah.
everything out the front door and the door just slammed shut. There was no
Wow.
breeze, there was no fans, there was no reason the door should have slammed shut. But as I got older, I was probably about 16, and in my bedroom, and we didn't have central air and heat, so you always had your doors open, your windows open. And um, the next morning, I hear my sister telling my dad a story about she ran into this dark figure in the hall,
Wow.
and he said, "Hush, just hush." No, I want to hear what happened. You know. So later, I get it out of my sister. It was in front of my bedroom.
Wow.
She was walking down the hall to go to the restroom in the middle of the night and ran into us. She said it was tall, whatever it was, but it was a
Wow.
shadow figure. Ran smack into it, and it took her breath away. She stepped back. She said, "Sorry, Daddy." It wasn't my dad. I put
Wow.
my door shut after that.
Oh my God. A quick
Yeah.
hello to you, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Please do like and share. Wow, Jazzy, that's freaky.
I never saw it. I'm sure that I felt it, not knowing what I felt, but I never actually saw the thing. But I found out later, my dad told my sister, I don't want you putting those things in her head.
And it's
Too
funny
late.
say when I was living at my mom's house, it's true, like the keys, you saw them clearly in the lock. As we got closer, the keys vanished before our eyes. And I told my mom, I was like, it was right there. And she's like, no, it wasn't. And I said, and thank God, me and Maria always saw it together. For those that you don't know, Maria's my twin sister. And that's what motivated me to write my own book, My Darkness from My Journey from Darkness to the Light. And it talks about all my crazy stories. So whoever likes haunted stories, feel free to check it out. But yeah,
Yeah, a lot of good stories.
it was
It's
very crazy.
amazing. The most compelling story is the one where you say that the spirit is trying to convince you to jump.
Yes, yes. And that's the
That's disturbing.
craziest. Yep, it sure
And then you think, how many
did.
people has that happened to? You know, is it?
It happened a couple of times. Like when we were younger would tell us to do crazy things. And so I won't ruin it for everyone, but in the book, there's this lady that lives downstairs, and she never wanted to tell us that that lady committed suicide. So we never knew. They knew, but we didn't know. So I was like, why am I getting thoughts in my head of how to jump out of there, And why is that coming through my mind? And my mom never told us because she thought it would make it worse. Until the day that I actually ran into, I overheard the conversation. And that's what the book talks about, how she admitted. She's like, yeah, that lady did jump, and she was 90-something years old back then. And she witnessed her jumping out of the window. And back then there used to be bars. So her body went through her window, her body, the bars, yeah. And then she landed to her death, which is really horrible.
Oh, no.
But that lady was not a good person. Like, before they moved in, there was a lot of needles in the house. I don't know why my mother and father decided to move in there, but anyways, that's another story. There were needles. There was like all the stuff there. Maybe they found that at a very good price.
and then you wonder, why was she trying to encourage you? Was she lonely and wanted somebody else to jump? Or you know what I mean?
Yes.
What's the purpose behind that? Spooky.
Misery loves company. Yeah.
Oh,
and she would tell me and Maria the same thing. It would come through my mind. Oh, it's breaking up still. So let me just try to see what is wrong with my. No, it's so funny. It works really good before we come on, and then they like to throw me out of this. How about this now? This works. They just switched it. Does it sound better? I hope so. It's frustrating with this crazy camera.
Yeah.
You hear me good, don't you, Jess?
Do what?
Do you hear me good, my voice?
It's breaking up a little bit.
Oh.
So I'm having a hard time. But speaking of your mother's building, where she lived, is in the, Washington Heights area?
Yes.
And it's like this 2 billion story building that has no elevator, remember? And I'm walking up the stairs with this huge Greek dish that weighed about 20 pounds, 5 flights. To meet your mom for the first time. But I do remember the feeling in that building, the static electricity that was in there from, I'm sure there's more spirits in there than there are tenants,
That building is all suicide. There were so many suicides in that building. I don't even know how many. There was another one on the 3rd floor where her husband broke up with her. She was a Muslim, and she jumped out of the window. There were so many people jumping out of the window in that building. There's probably a life all on its own. Okay, we're going to take a very quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned, everybody. Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought. All right, so we are live, Paradise Studios, New York. Give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight. Woo!
Living room when I heard my son Carter, who was 2 at the time. I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the life vac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The life vac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a life vac.
Hi, I am Linda DeVitis.
I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you.
All right. Is everybody having a good time tonight or what? That's what I thought. All right, so we are live, Paradise Studios, New York. Give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight. Woo!
Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you.
I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the life vac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The life vac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a life vac.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back with my special guest, Jocelyn Paris.
Thank you, thank you. I can hear you better.
Della, turn on the light, sweetie. Thank you. Oops, that doesn't look too good. Turn it back off. There's a little bit haunting spirits today. Turn it off, sweetie. So we're having a little technical difficulties, but I'm using my phone better. So let's get back into it.
That's to be expected. I really like this time of year, the energy changes. Without a calendar, I can tell you it's October because everybody gets that little buzz going because the fall's coming. It's not so hot anymore. And plus it's Halloween, and Halloween is like the doorway to the holidays, you know? So I get it. My phone battery has been draining a lot lately, no matter how good I charge it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So another funny story, actually, it was really scary for my mom in that house that I wrote the book. One time she called me up and she said, Linda, that's what happened. She said, the chair is rocking back and forth and there's nobody here but me. And then I told her, okay, so just talk to the spirit and won't do anything to you. And then she goes, are you kidding me? And she ran out the house.
top of her lungs,
Poor thing.
a black up, and then she just started. She went to her friend's house. She goes, I don't even remember if I locked the door or not. Then I was like, oh my god, go, you're so.
Poor thing. She's not going to engage. Not at all.
No, back
No.
then they used to think we're nutcases, me and Maria. We're always at the priest getting blessed because we both would see it at the same time. We would see like the head,
Yeah.
and it was really freaky. I remember one time we were in the hallway. My mom used to have a big mirror right in the hall. And so whenever we would it's true that when you watch haunted shows, it does attract it more. So we're looking through the mirror and we saw this lady, like, say, for example, this is the towel. And she was going like this. I swear. And then I was looking at my sister. I go, do you see it? And then she goes, yeah, I see it. And then I was like, oh my God. And I started yelling. That's why I had so much anxiety. I was at a ball of nerves.
Oh my God. She was doing laundry. Come on. Your laundry.
Exactly. It was crazy. Oh my God.
Oh,
And I have a lot of them. Go ahead.
that's okay. I was just going to say, I think I'm blessed that I don't actually see. Does that make sense?
Right.
I don't. Now, I've seen people before that I thought were real, and then something happened, and I don't think they were real. Does that make sense? But I've never seen like a full-fledged spirit. I can feel them. I can see it in my mind's eye, what they look like or what they're saying. But I really think if one ever stepped out in front of me, it would be a heart attack right then and there. So I always tell them, I don't want to see you. Just tell me what you have to say,
Yeah, exactly.
Don't scare me. That's what I say. Don't scare me. But going back to haunted stories, we used to investigate this. It's not abandoned, but an old hospital in Yorktown, Texas. If anybody wants some good stories, just Google Yorktown, Texas. If you want to see when our television station at the time covered it, it was Channel 25 in Victoria, Texas. So it's on YouTube somewhere of an investigation we did. And it's amazing how fast the spirits can drain the batteries.
Yeah.
So we're standing in the stairwell, and the camera lady is behind me, and I've already picked up. I know this is a nun, and so I'm talking to the nun, and it was a hospital that was ran by the Catholic Church at the time.
Oh, wow.
And I get this feeling that the nun was having an affair with the doctor. So I ask out loud, are you having an affair? Did you have an affair with the doctor? Mm-hmm. The only light we have at this point, we're standing in a stairwell, like on the second floor or something. And the only light we have is the camera lady, right? And so I say, I'm sorry if I offend you, but hey, were you having an affair with the doctor? The freaking light goes out. The camera shuts off. Her battery is stripped, and she just put that battery in, and it is pitch black. I'm like, oh, I think I pissed her off.
Oh my God, that is so.
It scared the heck out of us. But it was just strange that right at that moment, her battery was completely drained,
Wow. And that's actually what's happening right now is we're talking about it. My daughter's panicking because her phone is not charging. She's like, oh, fine, just charge it. It is.
Yeah, it'll charge when the show's over. Don't worry. But like I said, if you want some good stories, even that guy Zach Baggin or whatever, he's even been there. When the Ghost Lab was on television, they did the Yorktown Hospital. So it's very fruitful when it comes to spooky stuff. We hosted a lady that had the local magazine there in town, and she won the competition and got a free ghost hunt with us. And it wasn't bad. There were some noises, there were some voices, there was some stuff happening. But nothing huge really happened that night.
Right.
And so she leaves. Yeah. Her and her guest left. And it's unfortunate, but all three of us were smokers, right? So we are like, we light up a cigarette as soon as she leaves. And we said, you know what, let's go down to the basement one more time and see if we can contact whatever that guy's name was. And so we are supposed to be professional paranormal investigators. Not one of us brought a flashlight except for the leader who had one on her neck. But we all got a red cigarette, right? So we walk up down the stairs rather, and we stand in the crossway, you know, where the hallway would go this way, right? So we're right there in the crossway, and I don't remember what his name was, but apparently he was a resident there. And so she calls out to David, you know, David, are you here? And we hear something fall in a distance. Now, this is an abandoned hospital. There's nobody there. And so we hear something fall in a distance and said, oh my God, did you hear that? Her flashlight goes out. Now, in a moment of sheer panic, two things happen. There are the people that scream and run, and there are the people that freeze. Well, this is the first time that we had ever investigated with one of the girls. And it's the first time I ever met somebody that froze. She literally froze like an icicle right there. She didn't move. I was ready to run, but she didn't move, you know. Flashlight wouldn't come back on. She's tapping it. We said, okay, that's enough. The flashlight came back on. We booked it back up the stairs and left. We weren't going to stick around.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they just pop up. They do whatever. Like here in my own house, I'll hear something fall and there's nothing that could have fallen. I mean, we have animals, but I know what they do and what sounds they make, and just here, there, yonder all the time.
Oh, exactly. I had this one time. I was in my daughter's room, and then all of a sudden it was cold, and I went into her room to like kind of close the window. She was a little baby, and so she was sleeping in my room that time. So I'm like, wow, it's chilly. So I went into her room, and then all of a sudden I heard this man snoring. That was like, what the heck? And I knew that it wasn't Steve. Yeah, because he was working that night. So I heard in her room, like, that was like, what the heck? And then I just got this eerie feeling. I ran into my bed. I pulled the covers over my head. God, and I even saw him at the corner of my eye. And then it's true what they say. It hid right under my bed. I was like, okay, please, God, just let it go away. And I try not to give it attention, because then when you give it attention, of course, it's going to stay more. So I just completely ignored it. And I was like, all right, get lost.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is fear and love are the two strongest energies a person puts out, right?
Exactly.
So an unseen spirit can't make you love them, but they can sure as hell scare the hell out of you, right? So when they scare you and you get that riled up and they get that energy, they love it. Good, bad, or indifferent. They all love that energy. It feeds them in a way, you know?
That's absolutely right. They feed it. Anxiety, stress, fear, all that is like an energy that they do like to gobble.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
And tapping noises. Recently, when I've been trying to sleep through the fan, I hear like these tapping noises, like it comes right through. And people say, oh, how does it come through? It comes through electricity, like through the phones or through the telephone. Like one time my mom was on the phone, and then all of a sudden she actually heard my dad talk through, and my dad has passed away for so many years. And she heard him just say, hey, you're there? And that she was like, what? And then she was trying to get him back, but he was gone. So they tried to let us know that, you know, they're okay.
Oh, that's beautiful, though. He reached out to her.
He did. He's the best. He always told me, he's like, when I die, I'm going to try really hard to come through. And then he came in my dream. He goes, damn it, the signal there is horrible. I can't get through whether you pay me or not.
That's awesome. Well, it's New York. I mean, there's 1 billion people per square foot. No wonder the signal's bad, you know?
Exactly. That is so
that's crazy.
Yeah.
What was I going to say there? I'll say another story that I was going to tell you. You were talking about like a knocking.
Right.
years ago, I was in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I was with somebody else that was working a turnaround at the nuclear power plant, right? And um, my computer just moved. Anyway,
Welcome to the HEHAS.
woo, I went to burn some stage after this trip. Anyhow, so I'm in this hotel, and this hotel is very old, but it's right on the Plymouth Bay, right? So just a few blocks down, I could walk down and see the Plymouth Rock. By the way, if you've never seen the Plymouth Rock, it's only about 4 foot wide. You know, we have the vision that it's huge, but all those years they let people chip off of it. So now, I mean, it's not very big at all. So anyhow, this is an old hotel, and they're in the middle of remodeling it. We have no neighbors on either side. But when we first got there, they put us like on the third floor, way down. And we get in there, there's no remote to the television. I don't remember, the toilet didn't work. So all these weird things. And I kept getting the vision of a man in one of those, I guess they call them bowling hats. They were that round top with the round, you know, in a black trench coat. And I told my guys that he doesn't want us here, you know. So, oh, forgive me. It did have a remote. The TV wasn't working. Anyhow, all this weird stuff. And he goes down, talks to the manager. Okay, we get a new room. So I have to go back and
Oh no,
get
Jazz.
the
Now
rest of our stuff.
yeah.
And I walk in there, and it was like walking into a dryer full of towels, you know, that static electricity. And the room they put us in didn't have a remote. So I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but I got to take the remote. But I feel like it followed us back. And one night he's working nights. The middle of the night, I hear knock, knock, knock. And it's right above my head on the wall. Now, remember, we had no neighbors. For whatever reasons, we were the only one right there within 10 rooms. There were people underneath us. And then I would hear when people would walk across, if you walked across the crosswalkers or whatever up there, the way they were built, when they would step on it, it would creak. So I was asking somebody about that I would hear that board creaking all night. And they said, nobody's up there. Nobody should have been walking up there. It flopped off.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay.
That's
Yeah. So then we get home after that trip. I left for the weekend, and my other half said he woke up in the middle of the night and heard 3 knocks above his head.
Wow. Isn't
Out of
that
bed. And he didn't really believe in all of this, you know. So he gets up, grabs his gun, you know, old country boy grabs his gun. He goes and checks all the windows, all the doors, and he didn't find anything. But I thought that's pretty interesting. And the same night, I have a body pillow. He had thrown it off the bed because it was in his way. And when he woke up, that pillow was back on the bed the next morning.
wow? Isn't that
So
something?
I don't know if that fella followed us home or what happened, but spooky.
We gotta sage ourselves after the show.
Yeah.
There was one time my mother-in-law, she passed away a few years ago. And so I felt someone was in the room, but I was preoccupied at the moment. And in life, she never had any patients, God rest her soul. But she was like, I felt her there. So that was like, okay, 1 minute, because I wanted to finish whatever I was typing. So then I felt her energy come in front of me. I was sitting on the carpet, and she was like, and then I was like, yeah, I'm here. I was like, what is it?
She didn't have time to wait around.
Yeah. You know what the crazy thing is? My sister, the day that she passed away, she told me that she experienced her spirit like poltergeist. So she was in her bedroom trying to put them to bed. And then all of a sudden she said a little creak of a door opened and someone started throwing things at them.
No.
I swear. And that's how my mother-in-law was. She was like, she was a funny lady. So she was like, all right, calm down.
She wanted somebody to pay attention to her.
Yeah, and I told her, are you saying the truth? I told her that she was, I swear, ask them. And those kids got so scared. He was like, "Mommy, don't leave us. Don't leave us." It was hysterical. I couldn't
I
stop
don't blame them.
the
I would
story.
have climbed in the bed and slept with them. God almighty.
Yeah, so
Oh, gosh.
that was hysterical. And so I tell everyone the energy that you create in your house also attracts. So there's this man that I know that his whole house is like a clown house. So now he's like, "Oh, I never feel anything in my house." I was like, "I do. Whenever, we walk down there with Steve, we always feel like at least 3, 4 spirits, but he always thinks there's nothing there. Meanwhile, the whole house looks like a clown house."
Oh, my gosh.
And they have a big mirror, and I'm telling them that mirror attracts them. The portals, they come in and out. No, that's protection. That go, what do you for protection? That thing's bouncing from one to the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm always careful. I try not to be too superstitious unless something in me tells me that it's true, right? But I try not to ever have 2 mirrors across from each other, ever. Never.
Did you see that video where that lady did some kind of mirror thing and she ended up getting lost in the portal? That is scary.
No.
Yeah, it's on TikTok and it's so scary that she made she aligned the mirrors in a way that she walked through one of them and there she goes. She's gone. She vanished off the face of the earth.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that is scary.
I've watched too many horror movies. I'm even afraid to touch them. My hand's going to disappear or something.
Actually, here's another scary story for the mirrors. There was this little girl that she was brushing her teeth. I think I told you in the other show, but I'll repeat it. So she was brushing her teeth. So she's like, and then all of a sudden she's like laughing with her mom, but she's laughing and she's looking at herself and that person's not laughing. She's serious. And then she goes, she's trying to like, and then she wouldn't move. It goes, that person over there is not even moving. It was exactly her, but another version, I guess. So scary.
Yeah.
Out too, and we're supposed to be used to them. Yeah, it was
Right?
really.
What are those called? Are those sirens or doppelgangers or what? When they make themselves, no, doppelganger is something that looks like you, but then do the sirens mask your face? Is that what they are?
I think so.
Okay.
Pretty scary, and that's why when I was little, my mom used to always say, "Don't look at the mirror after 11 o'clock or 10:30 or whatever." So whenever I would wake up, I was like, I would try not to look at the mirror.
Go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Man, mirrors are spooky. Golly.
It is very spooky.
Um,
Go ahead. Now it's your turn to talk.
oh, that's okay. So back in the day, do you remember the phones with the little antennas? That was a big deal when you didn't have a cord anymore. So you had this little, and I had one of my sisters lived in Houston, and we would have marathon phone calls, right? And talk for hours on the phone. I could have driven to Houston and back by the time we hung up. And so one night, this is before I understood the whole energy, all of that. And so one evening I'm on the phone with her and I'm talking about another one of our sisters, right? And again, I'm a whole different person now, but I was mad and I was saying all these bad words about her, and all of a sudden, and remember, you would get some static on those phones when you walked around, and all of a sudden this real strong static comes in, and I'm not kidding you. It was, I don't even like to say the word, but it was a very negative voice, and it said, "You effing B."
Wow.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
And I went, "Do you hear that?" I asked my sister, "Do you hear that?" Click. It hung up.
Oh my gosh.
It hung up. And then I had a hard time getting back to her. Well, I'm home alone with babies. I'm not about to go to bed like that, So I called and I finally get a hold of her. And I said, "Did you hear that?" She said, "No. All I heard was click, like you hung up." She didn't hear it. I thought, well, maybe I don't know, maybe I picked up on a trucker going by or something. No, it was direct and it was in my ear. And do you know that taught me a very valuable lesson? I didn't talk like that anymore. No
Wow.
sense in it. Not if
Wow.
I'm going to attract crap like that, you know. So you gotta be careful. I mean, like you were saying, just talking about them brings them in. So be careful what you're talking about and who you're talking about.
Exactly, because they acknowledge it, and then, and of course, if they feel like you can hear them, they're gonna come talk more. When you ignore them and you just, then they leave. Yeah, they
Yeah,
like it. That's for sure.
very
That-
much.
And so, exactly, like the mirrors. And another scary story, the Snoopy story. When I was little, we all slept in the same room. There were five of us. So all of a sudden, I woke up with a half an eye and I heard my sister screaming. I go, "What happened?" She always used to sleep with the Snoopy doll. And she said that she was watching this horror and that she heard the Snoopy go, "Mama, Mama." And then she threw it across the room. And then when we woke up, we must have been so little, like 10. And then I said, "What happened?" She goes, "Go back to sleep." She goes, "Oh
She
my
didn't want to talk about it.
God, it was so scared of the Snoopy doll."
Oh my gosh.
That thing turned
No way. I would have thrown that thing out.
exactly.
Gosh, that's spooky.
That was
Anything to do with dolls or stuffed animals coming to life. Mm-mm. No.
yes. That's what it is. Those reborns that they have, they all feel haunted to me. They really do. You know those dolls that look real? They,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna take one of hers, but I don't want her screeching right now. So yeah. And the cloth dolls, I know that the cloth dolls are very haunted too. But the
The what
dolls,
doll?
the cloth ones,
Oh.
yeah. And so whenever, like, I know this lady that she always, puts things in them. She does the crazy stuff. So I told her, don't do that stuff. That's why. And then she goes, yeah, dolls are made for that. They're supposed to have spirits in them. I go, not my kind of dolls. I don't want no crazy spirit. Imagine
Yeah.
when it's walking to you, I would scream on top of my lungs.
No way. No way. Like when they talk about the Annabelle doll or whatever and how it moved around the house. My sister had one of those, I can't remember his name, Talking Charlie. And he was like the original puppet. He had a top hat and a tuxedo, and only his mouth, was cut right here, right? So only his mouth moved, and you did that by a little string in the back. Well, she had one in her upstairs, and I was up there for something using the computer, came back down, and in the same room, she had they were life-size dolls. They were like meant for 6 or 7 year olds. You remember those two, the plastic dolls? They were about the size of a 6 or 7 year old. She had one of those. And I went back up, and those dolls were sitting on the couch. And I
What?
know that Charlie or whatever had been laying on the floor when I was up there before. And so I thought, my sister's a prankster, right? This one is. And I thought, she slipped up there and did that. I got to thinking, no, she wouldn't have gotten past me.
Wow, that's pretty freaky.
So
Yeah, scream
I
too.
didn't need to go back. Yeah, I didn't need to go back upstairs after that. I wasn't doing it. But,
So scary.
oh, a Ouija board story for you. When I was in college, right? So when I was in college, I kind of couch surfed for a while, and I ended up living with these two guys. Uh, and I slept on the couch. They had their own bedrooms because I didn't pay rent. And anyway, one of them worked at the pizza company, and he was into dabbling in witchcraft, but he messed with things I wouldn't have, right? Well, so we're playing Ouija, and when he would play, he could do it by himself. And the reason I knew he wasn't faking it is because he could close his eyes and put his head back, and it would go to the letters and spell things out. So I'm sitting there writing everything down. So it tells us, go look in the pool.
Wow.
So we leave the apartment, right? We go out to the pool. We see this little bug. He said his name was, let me just not say it, because every time I talk about him, then he shows up again.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says his name, And we go out to the pool, we see a bug, and we're like, hey, is that you? You know, we don't know what we're looking for. We come back in, as God is my witness. And I didn't trust these guys. You know, I thought they're gonna yank my chain. And I was the last one to leave, and I was the first one to come in to make sure they didn't pull any pranks. My lighter, cigarette lighter, was in my glass of water. The next thing it says, we're like, oh, well, what happened? You know, we went outside, nothing happened. And about that time, I said, where the hell's my lighter? The board says, as God is my witness, the board says, stop smoking.
Oh, wow. That is so
okay. So then it says, David, are you missing something? And so we look at him and we said, what are you missing, David? He goes, no, let the board tell you.
Oh my God.
The board goes, your keys are behind the dresser.
Oh. And now you've
room. And these keys were caught in the middle of the dresser. So it's not like they just fell off, and you couldn't have shoved them in there, you know? So they were caught behind the dresser and the wall. Okay, that was scary. And then it asked the other guy, he goes, look for the mix under your bed. And at the time, the other guy was into making mixtapes, you know, where you run one song into another song with a similar beat. To tell y'all how old I am, one of the songs was Vogue from Madonna. But anyhow, so he makes these really cool tapes. And so he says, look for the mix under your bed. So we're all thinking, okay, it's going to be a cassette tape. That tells you how old I am, too. It was a cassette tape. And so we all go into the room. We dive under the bed. Girl, it was, I'm not kidding, it was a packet of taco mix. Look for the mix. So the thing's got a sense of humor, right? There was something in the bathroom when I went to the restroom. I think I had left my keys and sunglasses and stuff in there, and it told me to go back in there. They were gone. And this thing started getting stronger and stronger, and to the point where you feel tears welling up in your eyes. You're getting scared. And when I looked at James, and he had tears in his eyes because he's the big prankster. He's the one that thought he was invincible, you know. And I looked at James and I saw tears in his eyes. I knew it was serious.
Wow.
So at one point it tells us to go into another room. I don't know if it was the keys or the mixtape, but when we came back, it told us to look up.
Wow.
And when I looked up, we had this really cool collage on the wall, and it was a picture that I drew, a melted money candle. It had this vinyl album behind it. So, I mean, that's kind of chunky and clunky. And we had it up on the wall. When we looked up, that thing was completely upside down.
Oh my God.
And I said, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm scared now. And like I said, even the other guy had tears in his eyes. And I said, tell it good night, goodbye, leave us alone, whatever. And it took me a long time to get rid of that one.
Wow.
It took me a long time to get that thing to quit following me. It was crazy.
Wow.
That's the same one I told you when I went to get the Ouija board, the light turns on, went to burn it. The next day it was still on fire.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I highly encourage people. I mean, I guess it's fun if you're not spiritual and you're not really into all of that, but it can still affect you, you know.
Yeah, that's what they said, that the Ouija board is like leaving your front door open. Anything could come in. And I remember when I was little, my sister made us play that. And before we would start, this roach would come like 4 inches big. And then I was like, that's not a good thing. Don't be scared. It's nothing. Meanwhile, she didn't know how sensitive we were. I used to see that guy. His name was Max, and I would see his plaided shirt. I would even see his face. He was a cowboy, too. And,
oh, my God.
Yeah, and he told us that he died very tragically. And then I told her, I don't want to play anymore. I felt like something was going to happen to me. I couldn't handle his energy. I was too little. And then I told her, I don't want to play again. She goes, oh, come on. I was like, no, come on.
Come on, nothing. I ain't playing.
I said, let that thing come after you. And as much as she wouldn't listen, she noticed that as much as she kept playing the Ouija board, the worst luck she would get. She almost got hit by a car. She lost her job, like everything
Oh
negative.
my gosh, that's for real. And you know, as I was saying the last time about ghost hunting, if you will, when you're in the moment, it's you only get to hear it once. When you're watching it on television, you know, they play it over and over, but in real life, you only experience it once. So the same thing goes with this Ouija board business is it's not like in the movies where all the clues are obvious. You know what I mean?
True.
So all these little subtle things are happening. That's how they make the movie, because they finally put it all together, right? But all these subtle things are happening, and then it's too late before you know it. And I just I don't have any desire anymore, ever,
Either.
ever. It's not even a parlor trick anymore for me. I just been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. And I highly encourage people not to.
Exactly.
Because even if it comes across and it says that it's your mother or whatever, it's very rare that it really is. And because of where they are in the spirit world, they know everything. They know anything. So, you know, of course they're gonna know secrets about you. Any one of them can access that information. So
it's scary because you don't know if yeah, it's right, because they're mostly earthbound. So they're trying to transform themselves, which is crazy. Yeah. For people that are earthbound is they haven't crossed over to the light. They're still here on earth.
Even try to possess you in a sense because they want to live again. You know, there's another tidbit of information that I think that people with alcohol and drug problems are, I'm not going to say they're possessed, but they may have an attachment.
Yes, for sure. For sure they do. I think you got stuck, Jazzy. You
stick around and feed off your energy. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're going to encourage you to do more because they want to experience it more. So, I mean, think about, what are you pulling up when you're playing with that board?
Yes.
Oh, it's just a board and a piece of plastic. Okay. Believe what you want.
Yes.
But
you're absolutely right, because those are attachments. And that's why we outgrew drinking. Like when I was younger, I would drink a little wine, but it's true. They do come with a attachment, because if you notice when you're drunk, you act out of character. That's because something went in you.
I think so. I have a sweet mate in college. She would drink and she was somebody completely different. And you'd ask her the next day, dude, what was the matter with you? Why were you acting like that? She couldn't remember anything. Wow. I swear it's something attached to her every time she got drunk.
Yes.
But do you remember that time? I have to tell this story. It's not spooky, but that time that we came up there and we went to some Irish bar, right? And first we're sitting in the front. Some guy's trying to come on to your sister and she's panicking, trying to get away from him. And then we go back to the back where there was pool, and they must have had a party or something. And there was this big tray of chicken wings that wasn't even open. And we ate them. You remember that? We sat there and ate those chicken wings. Oh my gosh. That was the funniest thing ever. And you and your sister were both drinking wine, right? So your lips had that wine stain and y'all were just happy.
You are so funny. Well, now I don't drink wine at all because of vertigo. I will never, I battle that, so I don't need to feel a little off.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that was one of the funniest nights ever. We just braved it, took the foil off and went for it.
You are so funny. You remembered it, huh? Yeah, and that
I have the picture of your sister. Do what?
Do you know that bar is spooked out? Somebody died in there, so it's haunted.
Didn't we talk about it that night?
Yeah, it was haunted.
It seems like something. I can see a person stumbling out into the sidewalk.
Yeah. So that's bar. It was very well known for someone passing away, and they say things used to vanish at nighttime. Like the bartender would make the drinks, but the drinks would disappear.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And that's the bar you chose to take us to.
Well, you know, back then I loved spooky stuff. And that man was really nice, the owner. He was very sweet. So he would always say, come on down with his Irish accent. He was a sweetheart, little leprechaun.
Aw.
Yeah. But it was nice till it lasted. You know, after that, I outgrew drinking. Why even nowadays, my husband's like, just a little bit, but I don't feel drawn to it like I used to when I used to have like a little drink. I just feel like it's just, you know, I don't know, maybe because of the vertigo that I don't really want to. But
Yeah. And I don't know what I'm opening myself up for anymore, you know.
yeah, exactly.
So I'm not a big drinker anymore either.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just a little bit is fine, but I don't know. I guess that we outgrow it, or you know, we just go on another
I
level.
think that happens too. And then as we get older, your body handles it differently or whatever. But
Yeah. What
I
was
don't know
that?
what that was.
There?
I have no idea. Did you hear it?
Yes, I did. It sounded like. What was that? The gust of wind?
Well, the dogs are right here, so it wasn't them. I have no idea.
Well, there you go. We just caught
So
a
we just ignore it and go on.
yes, we caught a spirit live, and that's what I'm gonna say. Tune in and watch and hear the howl. You heard
All
it
right.
too.
Hey, you come get your spirit taken back. The other, we have this big deep freeze on the back porch, right? And the other morning, sun wasn't even up yet. I'm on the back porch, and all of a sudden, it was like something fell, like a box of stuff, just random stuff, not heavy, but you can hear it. I heard it tumble and hit the ground.
Oh wow.
And there's nothing over there that fell. There's no reason for it to have fallen,
Wow.
right? And I know where my cats are. You know, that's the first thing is use common sense, right? I know where my cats are. And this refrigerator blocks your view from the edge of the porch.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, one or two things are going to happen.
Oh.
Either there's somebody behind there for real and they're going to get me, or it's just a spirit and I'm fixing to walk into the house. And so I tried very hard not to be scared. You know that feeling, you're trying
Yeah.
very hard. And so all of your moves are exaggerated and they're painfully slow, but I was not going to show fear. So I walk real slow to the back door and I turn the knob and I walk in casually. I shut the door, I lock it, and I ran off. But by God, it wasn't going to see me get scared.
My God, that's so funny.
But I don't know what it was. What is it?
Exactly. You know, the whole hour just flew by. We only have
No
1 minute.
way.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're-
gosh.
So speak quick.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our visit.
Yeah. And to hear the spirit, and I heard it really clear. Did you hear it too?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jazz, for tuning in.
Oh, thank you for having me. I always enjoy it. I hope everybody else enjoys it too.
Yes, it was a pleasure. And whoever wants to find Jazzy, she's on Facebook under Jocelyn Paris. You can find me at healingsonthego.com, and I'm all over the place, Linda DeVitis. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Sorry about
Bye.
the disturbance in the beginning, but the spirits have joined us. Now we send them to the other side.
Send them home.
Send them home and don't stay here. Linger around, start yapping.
That's right.
Have a great night, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Love you.
Love you too.